Have you ever seen fishermen chasing monstrous walruses that weigh 2 tons each? It is nevertheless hunted on a small scale in some regions, like as Alaska, Canada, Russia, and Greenland, despite the fact that this particular animal species is considered to be extremely uncommon and is protected in the waters of the world. Does it involve hunting for profit? Come along with us as we explore right now. There is a long-standing hunting custom that has been perpetuated by the people of Greenland for years, and that tradition is the hunting of enormous walruses. This practice has been passed down from generation to generation in Greenland, which is a place where the weather is severe and the ocean is deep and frigid throughout the entire year. These animals are among the largest sea creatures that can be found in the Arctic Ocean. Their tusks may grow to be as long as 30 centimeters, and they can weigh up to 2 tons. There was a time when they lived in large groups on the rocky coastal regions and ice fields of Greenland, particularly in the north and northeastern regions of the island nation. Walruses are strong animals that are difficult to hunt and are typically only seen in coastal areas during the summer months or when the ice melts. They have a thick covering of fat, a muscular body, and prominent tusks. The Inuit, an indigenous people who make up the majority of the population in remote areas of Greenland, view the walrus as more than just a prey animal. It is also a symbol of their culture, history, and ability to survive. It is possible to make use of every component of the walrus, including its meat for consumption, its skin for the production of canoes and ropes, its tusks for the carving of tools or crafts, and its fat for the generation of heat. The Y people have a long history of raising walruses, which dates back to the prehistoric period when humans first established in the Green L. This custom has been passed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. Not only was the training of walruses in the past regarded a religious process, but it was also done for the purpose of survival. Hunters are required to abide by a multitude of moral and spiritual guidelines. They think that if the spirit of the walrus is not respected in the appropriate manner, it can either bless or condemn. One of the distinguishing characteristics of the seahorse is the fact that it undergoes extensive preparation, both intellectually and physically. There are still many healers who prefer the traditional method of mixing archaic weaponry and ancient strategies, despite the fact that contemporary rifles are utilized by modern healers. A walrus that weighs 2 tons is never simple to approach. In addition to having exceptionally powerful instincts for protection, they frequently congregate in flocks. The entire pack may launch a counterattack by plunging into the water or slamming their tails and tusks onto boats in response to the injuries sustained by a single individual. At every moment, danger is present. The group of citizens approach the walrus from the windward side, swimming closer to it in a gentle manner while maintaining full silence. They will simultaneously throw spears toward the neck and shoulder area, which is the most susceptible part of the animal, once they have recognized the target, which is typically the heaviest old animal. After then, the sea urchin engaged in a protracted fight in an attempt to make its way towards the shore. Hunters are required to use a pulley rope to secure it and refrain from using a spear or cannon to play with it if it becomes necessary. When walruses have risen up, they have caused damage to boats or gravely hurt hunters. There have been instances of this happening. Therefore, the ability to coordinate and expertise in fighting are both essential components. When it came to a confrontation with a beast that weighed more than a vehicle, no one dared to be reckless about their actions. Especially, walruses are classified as a vulnerable species and are protected under several international agreements, such as the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. These laws prohibit commercial hunting in most regions. However, exceptions exist for indigenous communities like the Inuit of Greenland and Canada. These groups are allowed to hunt walruses in small numbers for subsistence purposes, as part of preserving their cultural heritage and survival in harsh Arctic environments. This distinction between illegal commercial hunting and legal traditional hunting forms the legal framework around walrus harvesting today. Moreover, the overexploitation of walrus populations can cause severe ecological disruption. Walruses play a crucial role in Arctic marine ecosystems by preying on bottom-dwelling species like clams, worms, and snails, which helps maintain a balanced seafloor ecology. If walrus numbers fall too drastically, it could lead to overpopulation of these benthic species, altering the food chain. In addition, Predators such as polar bears and killer whales rely on walruses for food. A dwindling walrus population could force these predators to shift their behavior or starve, resulting in a ripple effect across the Arctic biosphere. In addition, walruses hold significant commercial value, especially their ivory tusks. These tusks, which can grow up to 30 centimeters long, are highly prized in the black market for carving and ornamental purposes. Despite regulations, walrus ivory smuggling continues to thrive, often disguised as legal items or sold across borders with forged permits. Apart from ivory, walrus hides are tough and waterproof, historically used to make traditional Inuit boats, ropes, and footwear. Even the bones and skulls are sometimes used for tools or artwork. This commercial incentive continues to tempt illegal traders in remote Arctic regions. Beyond economic value, the walrus serves as a vital food source in Inuit cuisine. Its meat is either eaten fresh or preserved through drying, smoking, or fermenting in underground pits. One notable delicacy is igunak, a fermented walrus meat dish prepared using centuries-old techniques. These preservation methods allow communities to store protein-rich food throughout the long, resource-scarce Arctic winters. Fat rendered from walruses is used for cooking, heating, and even lighting traditional oil lamps called quillik. This culinary usage emphasizes the practical and cultural significance of walrus meat. What's more, the walrus occupies an important place in indigenous spirituality and folklore. For the Inuit, walruses are not merely animals, but spiritual beings with intelligence and agency. Hunting a walrus requires not only physical strength but also moral conduct. Hunters are expected to follow strict customs, including prayers or offerings before and after the hunt, to avoid offending the animal spirit. Failure to do so is believed to bring bad luck or dangerous misfortune. These beliefs have been passed down through generations, highlighting the deep spiritual bond between indigenous peoples and Arctic wildlife. At the same time, modern Inuit hunters face mounting challenges. On one side, they are pressured by environmental activists and international watchdogs who misunderstand or disapprove of traditional hunting practices. On the other side, they must contend with the economic realities of modern life. Balancing cultural identity with practical livelihood is not easy. Many hunters now use snowmobiles, GPS devices, and rifles, but still strive to preserve their ancestors' values. The intersection of tradition and technology creates a complex dynamic that defines modern walrus hunting. Complicating matters further, climate change poses a direct threat to walrus habitats. As Arctic sea ice melts earlier and freezes later each year, walruses are losing their natural resting platforms. Without floating ice to haul out on, many are forced to cluster in large groups on land, where they are more vulnerable to human activity and stampedes. In recent years, mass die-offs of walruses have been observed as they trample one another during panicked escapes. This environmental stress adds urgency to both conservation and sustainable hunting efforts. Despite these challenges, indigenous hunters have begun incorporating modern tools into their time-honored hunts. GPS tracking devices help locate walrus herds, while motorboats and drones assist in navigation and monitoring. Some communities even document their hunts for scientific or cultural preservation purposes. Nevertheless, many hunters still choose to use traditional harpoons or spears during the actual kill, viewing it as a rite of passage and a test of skill. This blending of old and new practices helps maintain cultural identity while improving safety and efficiency. Furthermore, the global debate surrounding walrus hunting remains deeply divided. Animal rights organizations often condemn any form of hunting, viewing it as cruel or unnecessary, regardless of context. In contrast, defenders of indigenous rights argue that traditional hunting is a form of self-determination and cultural sovereignty. These conflicting views have led to tension in international policymaking, particularly in organizations like the International Whaling Commission or the Arctic Council. Ethical discussions continue over where to draw the line between preservation and tradition. Lastly, a growing number of young Inuit are rethinking the role of walrus hunting in their lives. Some prefer to pursue higher education, join the workforce, or embrace tourism as a means of income. While many still respect the traditions of their elders, they may choose not to participate in hunts. Others are blending hunting with filmmaking, cultural education, or environmental activism. The future of walrus hunting may therefore evolve, not disappear, but transform into something that reflects the values and aspirations of a new generation navigating two worlds.